Welcome back. Riding cars. Off-roading with the Hornet. Wasn't actually off-roading. I was actually going down a driveway. Well, here's the thing. I'm out here in rural Alberta, and the whole purpose behind buying an SUV and looking for an SUV is that I knew it's rough. Like wintertime is rough, but actually, I'm not even going to say the wintertime. The regular day driving can be rough, being in rural Alberta. This came to light when my parents had to like we had a Camry and we drove it to Alberta. And we drove it down our driveway and it was bottoming out to get to our house. So there was no way in any conceivable fashion that that car would have made a winter. And it wouldn't have. So what it was is they sold it and we went out and bought a Trailhawk. No, Cherokee Trailhawk. The funny thing is that we pulled into the dealership. There was a brand new young sales person woman, and we've lived in Alberta before. My mom says we want something rugged, and the chick had this blank look on her face as soon as she said rugged. I don't know what happened there. It doesn't really matter. We drove around the used lot a bit, and my mom spied the Trailhawk that we have now. That's the one. It was just it had just become a they'd just taken it in on a trade. There's a whole story behind it. I'm not going to get into it. The simple fact of the matter is that that was the one. That was the one. That was the one, and that's the one we're driving right now. Now, in buying my Hornet, I knew this was going to be a thing, and I think I said in a long time ago video that this Jeep Compass thing kept coming up on my rate. Well, was I think one of the well, uh, I initially went to a Dodge dealership and it was up island, and buddy said there was a whole rigmarole, like how much do you have to tow, things like that. I explained like I'm moving to Alberta. I got to tow a boat. That's the whole purpose behind getting rid of the BMW, and I need it to be, I'm looking for an SUV because I got a little bit of off-roady stuff because I'm moving to Alberta, and it's just just general, just general in the winter time on city roads. You cannot drive a car. Your regular car will get damaged. Because I imagine driving my BMW around just regular Edmonton city streets and it would bottom out. I would get stuck in cul-de-sacs, things like that. So an SUV was on order in my mind and nothing extreme. I do not off-road. I do not do trail 4 by 4ing. I don't go somewhere to try to get my things stuck. And last winter, the Hornet it did okay. It did okay. It did okay. I never got stuck. It was high enough that I never, well, I shouldn't say that because I did bottom out in the winter time. I did have to push through snow, but it did well. It did okay. But what happened was there's a place I go fishing, and I try to keep the Hornet on paved roads because it's not an off-road vehicle. Might be an SUV or whatever you want to call it, but it's just not. And I try not to go on gravel roads. I try to stay away from, but the thing is like our driveway to get into our place is rough. Like it's rough. Like I said, we bottomed out in the Camry, and even if you take it at like 3 kilometers more than you should, like the cars bounce around. The Trailhawk bug, you know, bounces around. My car bounces around. I have to be careful. I have to be just in our driveway, and we keep it as best as we can. But there was this driveway that drove into to turn around my vehicle, and it was just as bumpy, but it did have, I don't know, I'd say tree branches, but they weren't tree branches. Like trees had fallen over, but they were smallish. They were like 3 inch, 4 inch diameter, and they were kind of laying across there. And I'm like, maybe. And like I said, 2 kilometers difference, and that's what had happened. Like, boop, 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 it's bouncy like our driveway, and bang, 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 the tree thing, and I hit the tree. And I can say I went off-roading with the Hornet, which didn't do too well because I actually got some body damage. Not a big deal. Like I can actually fix it with a heat gun and dentless paint removal because I we drove to Vancouver Island and I got the package. It's there somewhere in what we packed up, and yeah, maybe I'll show it. Maybe I'll show it. It's right here. Got a crack underneath here. It's dented. All of that, the wind. All of that is like paintless dent removal, which is like a heat gun and some glue and some pullers. And I fixed my BMW. I fixed the Camry from Acorn dents. I'm actually going to be fixing the door dents that I got on this thing. But it wasn't, like it wasn't anything huge or anything to write home about. I went down this driveway and it was just as bumpy as ours and clunk. But with the clunk, with how deep that little rut was, which we have in our driveway, but it had a branch across it. The branch came up, did a big thunk thunk thing, and I got a dent and a crack. A dent and a crack for off going down a driveway in Alberta. And right now, like on the plate, my daughter needs a car. Not exactly sure how to do this, but I actually got to call the salesman that sold us the Cherokee. But they don't have, I've been looking at a Compass Trailhawk at my local dealership, right? I sent my buddy the pictures. This might be on the thing. But so I've been looking at the dealership website at the place where we bought the Trailhawk, and there's two more there. There's a 2021 and a 2018, and I'm like, that 2018 is looking pretty sweet. Somehow wangle a deal to get this thing to my daughter or on a lesser payment on her name, and I'll take the Trailhawk and put it on a super low payment, and then we sort of like switch driving on it. I'll keep driving this. She can drive that Trailhawk or the Cherokee because, I mean, she's already driving it. Just make one her own sort of thing. But even still, if she wants to continue driving this and I'll drive that, absolutely fine because I originally wanted a Cherokee. And being out here in rural Alberta, that off road stuff, the ruggedness of those Trailhawks is appealing. because I drove cars throughout Edmonton during my entire lifetime, and all that ever really happens if you're driving a regular car is that they get damaged. And even if you're driving a pickup truck, and we drove work trucks. I drove work trucks like pickups, right? And they were capable of jumping curbs, which because snow clearing doesn't happen. The roads do not stay well cleared. They don't. They don't. And you end up with all kinds of things. Which, when SUVs came in, I actually thought maybe this is the solution, which is why everybody's buying them now. Nobody buys cars, like SUVs and trucks. Having a car is like a seasonal thing. It's like owning a motorcycle. Conditions have to be perfect in order for you to drive them. Like I couldn't take my BMW and drive it in the wintertime in Alberta. It was working out okay in the island, but not in the wintertime. We lived at the top of a hill at where we were living, and that car, due to its perfect 50-50 distribution, weight distribution, I could not get up the hill. I didn't have weight for the back tires. I spin up the hill, spin in the driveway. It was actually kind of hilarious. But that was only like 2 weeks in the wintertime. Just park the car, drive my daughter's Golf. It did perfect. Even the Camry did better. Front wheel drive, right? Like my car was rear wheel drive and it did not work. But the rest of the year, it worked. Out here, crappy driving happens like 6 months of the year. It happens 6 months of the year, and even now, like it's not snowing, it's nothing weird. I'm just going down somebody's driveway to turn around, and I damaged my car, even though it's an SUV. Even though it's an SUV. So there might be a video coming up for me, fixing that little denty thing with the crack in it, and we'll see. Maybe I'll fix it, maybe I won't. But we'll see. We'll see. you know, it's an SUV, and I call it a hidden sports car because it is a sports car, but it is jacked up. It's got bigger wheels and things like that. And even me last winter driving this around, actually being surprised at how well it did, it's still a little city car. It is still a little city car. It is not rugged. It is not meant to take, off-roady type punishment, I guess. All right. Thanks for tuning in. That's the scoop. And I can't park there. I'm going to park around the side. Yeah, that's the scoop. Let me know what you think. Like, when we went looking for that Trailhawk, that Cherokee, like, all SUVs are shiny. They're really not meant for off-road stuff, even though that's the entire purpose behind an SUV. And the most popular one that really first came out at the time was the RAV4, and it was rugged, and it was high up, and everybody latched onto that. Then the CRV came out, and then everybody started building an SUV, right? Strange. Right? We go look at SUVs now, and it's like buying a city car, except they're a little bit jacked up. But they have, all kinds of shiny plastic on it. There's nothing rugged about them. There isn't. There isn't. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one.